This is lesson 1, buttons and menu items. Most functions that are in a program are pretty easy to find, and they're usually laid out by the software designers kind of they have a structured way of doing it. So the most common things that you would want to do are in the title bar, the toolbar rather, and that you can see here in the screenshot. It's located at the top screen. You'll see they have graphical buttons, and almost all programs have this. Um, Back in the old days when people were making programs, they were just computer programmers sitting in their basement working on these things on their own, and they weren't usually well designed because the person knew how to write code and not really how to do usability. But now, they have big companies doing programs, and they have whole usability teams, and they try to follow a few different formats that are common across multiple different softwares. So we're going to show you some of those today. Um, there's a rule that I heard from a programmer that it's called the 20% 80% rule, where you use 20% of the functions in a piece of software 80% of the time. So there's a small set of tools that you use most often, and these are usually put in the title in the toolbar here, so you have easy access to them. Um, the toolbars they have graphical icons like you can see, and when you mouse over them, when you put your mouse over one of the tools and kind of hold it there, you'll see a little description come up. This is called the tooltip, and this gives you a short description of what the button does. So that's one thing you can do when you're trying to figure out what these buttons do and you're trying to look for a specific function. Now the other 80% of the functions, which you can assume what you would use 20% of the time, the things you use less often, are usually in the menu bar. And the menu bar is the horizontal row of text across the top of your program, and you can see it here in the screenshot. They're usually broken up into categories based on the contents of the menu. So, for example, the view menu has different options and functions related to the view of the program. So, you can zoom or you can do full screen and things like that. Lastly, there are most programs have a settings feature, or in PCs they're usually called settings, and in Macs they're usually called preferences. And this has a whole bunch of different settings for your program. Not really functions like buttons and menu items have, where you're actually accomplishing something, but it's a setting, so it controls how your software runs in some way. Um, there's usually a main tab. It's usually in a tab format, so you can go to different tabs and get the page. The main page will change. There's usually a main or a general tab, and again, this is the 20% 80% rule. Most of the common things you'll need are here in the main tab or the general tab, and then similar to the menu layout that we talked about earlier, the remaining things are separated by category based on the type of tool and function and option that it has. So that'll do it for this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you around the course. Enjoy.